Question. Just curious, what do you think is the best way to lose fat? I think I remember you saying cardio is not a big deal. If so, why do runners and people who do cardio seem to drop weight faster? It appears that way. Anyway,
Let's start with my really simple analogy of a human body. Running, let's talk about running. You can run really short distances very fast, like 100 meters, or you can run a really long distance, like 26 miles, reasonably slowly compared to like the sprinter. And then if you look at the bodies of those two particular athletes, one will be quite chunky, muscular, big boned, but they'll be ripped, you know, they are not fat, they are ripped. The marathon runner will be very slight, quite often looking like they need a really good meal or two. And that's because it's a different training response. So I always use that analogy because it's really simple to understand. The first one, the person that runs really fast demands a lot of energy in a very short space of time. The marathon runner, who has the same amount of energy available, because we all roughly carry the same amount of available energy because we're all roughly the same build. I know there's a bit of difference, but you're looking at as a species, we've got roughly the same amount of energy. When you run 26 miles, that body will have to adapt and it will have to do a thing called lowering your metabolic rate, because over 26 miles, you have this finite amount of energy and it has to slowly release that to make sure that you can do your 26-mile run, which is why people hit a wall if they haven't prepped properly or they haven't taken in carbohydrates when they're running in the middle of the race, 10 miles, wherever, because they've run out of energy. They've run out of substrate to be able to carry on going. So the body will adapt you so you can run that distance. And how it does that is it makes you more efficient at giving you energy over a longer period of time. That's your metabolic rate slowing down. That's a fact. So I'm not anti-running. I'm not anti-distance running. I've said this quite a few times. Middle distance running. I've got medals up there, which I don't sort of have behind me. Maybe I should. You know, I was 10 miler, quite easy. Mile sprints, really into running. So I'm not anti it. But when people ask me, is it the best thing to lose fat? No, it's not. And I'll tell you why. Because once you lower your metabolic rate, if you stopped running and you were eating the same as when you started running, now you've got a lower metabolic rate. This is the classic, not only did I put the weight on, but I also put extra on. So let's say you needed 10 pounds to lose and you did the running and I'm not denying that you lose fat because you do. But then what happens if you stop doing the running, you stop doing that distance, or you don't improve, then you have to work harder and harder, and you're actually fighting your metabolic rate, you're fighting your physiology. So that's not good for long-term fat loss. The best thing to lose fat off your body is to eat right. That's the simple thing. I can have two people come to me and one will say, I'm prepared to completely change my diet. I'm going to eat the right way. I'm not going to exercise. And the other person, let's say the twin with exactly the same conditions, will say to me, I'm not going to change my nutrition, but I will exercise. I guarantee the person that changes the nutrition, and I think everybody in this room will probably agree with this without much proof, the person that changes the nutrition will be the healthiest person. And that's the key to it. So I know a couple of people are looking forward to me answering this. Because I think they get the wrong idea that they think, I think exercise cannot make you lose fat. And that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when people ask me what's the best way is to have a good nutrition. The second thing is to do short, hard, intensive workouts. That's what you do. Okay. If you can be as explosive as possible in the gym, sprinting, whatever it is, short, hard, and intensive, 10 minutes, 15 minutes max, 3 times a week. Absolutely fatigue, your body will be a fat burning machine because that's what you need to do those sort of things. If we talk about body composition as well, very quickly, the 100-meter sprinter, for instance, will have really good muscular density and bone mass, bone strength. You need those things. When you're doing cardio, which everyone here calls cardio, the long distance running, those sort of things, you will have to have less muscle because your body's smart. If you're going to lug your body around 26 miles or 10K or whatever, Your body will be clever and go, right, well, if this person can do that, let's make the muscle as light as possible. Let's lose some of the bulk in the muscle. Let's make the bone as light as possible. So it all makes sense. I hope there's a few people nodding, because it all makes sense. These people are athletes, that do the fast runs. But when you look at someone like Runners World, which is a huge website, and they followed 13,000 runners over 10 years. After 10 years, on average, every single runner got a pound heavier and was running more. Hopefully that's answered that question.